Okay, our next poet, Pauline Sewards, has been here at Dodo Modern Poets before, and like Richard, she's got a bit of poetic form. She was shortlisted in the South Bank Poetry Competition. She was the winner of the Camden Archive Group Poetry Competition, and she's a regular reader on the circuit and a very fine poet, and we're very glad to have her back. So a big welcome, please, Pauline Sewards.
Thanks very much, Patrick. It's really lovely reading here. I just really love your set. Is it too high? So inept.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Brilliant. The first, I'm going to read 3 long poems. The first one is a mirror poem, and it's about the artist Pauline Sewards, who painted a picture of Marilyn Monroe, and until recently it was actually in the National Portrait Gallery. And I guess it's a mirror poem because I wanted to reverse the events in the first half, but we'll see. The only blonde in the world painted Marilyn, bathrobe slipping from her shoulders, covered in dust and plaster in the long-gone barn. She was lemonade girl, lipstick, shades of mivvy, short skirt, long lashes, tights when tights weren't all that common, home-cut hair bobbed over the kitchen sink. Walking home from art school with a gaggle of girls from the future beside her, copying her style in the best way possible, imprecise. Turpentine in a vinaigrette, toilet painted black, secret sachets in satin sheets, pleated skirt over cool air rising. Shuffle and twist on Ready Steady Go, bit part in the pop art film, though she was important, the brightest shot in the bagatelle, clutching the day-glow plastic of her inner child. She grew up fast in her terminal year, a baby and a tumour diagnosed at the same time. She chose life over death, but not her own life. She chose life over death, but not her own life. A baby and a tumour diagnosed at the same time. She grew up fast in her terminal year, clutching the day-glow plastic of her inner child. The brightest shot in the bagatelle. She was important, but bit part in the pop art film. Shuffle and twist on Ready Steady Go. Cool air rising on pleated skirt, secret sachets in satin sheets, toilet painted black, turpentine in the vinaigrette. Copying her style in the best way possible, imprecise, a gaggle of girls from the future walk home from art school beside her, home-cut hair bobbed over the kitchen sink. Tights when tights weren't all that common, short skirt, long lashes, lemonade girl, lipstick, shades of mivvy, covered in dust and plaster in the barn, long gone, bathrobe slipping from her shoulders, painted Marilyn, the only blonde in the world. Thank you. I'm really sad it's not on display really. It's a lovely picture, but you can see it on the internet. Now, like, news moves so fast these days. It's like, oh, we've had that, but now we know all about that, and now we're fed up of it. But I'm just going to do a couple of poems that are kind of my personal nod to this week, which has made me kind of think of one of the things it's made me think about is old friends, and this is for an old friend of mine who's passed away, and we worked together in this healthcare job. Initials. You will be there with your megaphone, promoting the paper, selling coach tickets to the rally in Trafalgar Square. Somewhere, just beyond the hubbub of our conversation, you will be there as we gather around your absence. You were going to represent me in my grievances, but you had grievances of your own when we worked together in that strange job, on the front line, in the scrum, believing the best of everyone, while anticipating the worst sometimes, each dependent on the other. One false step and we'd all fall. And I respected you because you always told the truth, because you used your anger to make things better for all of us, because you never talked bollocks or took a shearing plough sandwich, even after a long morning of thinking on your feet. A year ago, lunchtime in the park off Jamaica Street, I bought you sweet chili tofu from Kino. Lunchtime in the park discussing work, and although no one could overhear, we named the guy we knew in common only by his initials, but we named in full every one of those managers and the various ways they screwed us over. Lunchtime in the park discussing work, you told me how sometimes your anger grew too much to bear. You put it to the side, but just in reach. Time went on and we moved on. We sent you off with Blue Mountain coffee and homemade food. I always meant to keep in touch, but never did. And that day at the harbour side, watching Judley Camera, the music that you loved, the texts came through from all directions. Sad news. You had died in the water, like the guy we knew in common, who'll be there too when we gather around your absence, mainlining on hoarded medication, but he'll be there too and welcome. That day when you were faxing his details to prevent a scam, and he ran, chased by the security guards, weighted down by the whiskey bottles in his pockets, ran into the canal and drowned. He'll be there too. So I was at the harbour side and I heard the news, and I knew that you were taken by the water just like him. But your big heart would never really give up on us or you. Thank you. I owe you a really, really big apology because that was the curse of technology, but it's all my fault. So it's kind of muddled up, but I hope you got the gist of the story. And really it was because this guy had great respect for this guy, and I had a great respect for the other person in the poem as well, and kind of the way they interacted together. And he's somebody who's very, very much missed. Okay, so this is the last one I'm going to read now. And this is called 8/4/13. We waited a long time to hear this. A May morning, still chilly, poked by the cruel finger of daylight, with Gran and Uncle George smoking rollies. The news. We say, for comfort, only 5 years at the most, maybe only 4, maybe even less. Uncle George, born on a May morning. Father died when he was a baby. This was George's life, wrenched from the earth with freezing fingers gleamed, mending the broken, making do go as far as possible, no welfare. Back then, on that morning in the May days of my life, Brant fed, blessed by easy sunshine, sulky with a vague sense that things weren't fair. Gran had a bad Daily Mail habit, but George and I were kin, united with dread on that May morning, mourning in advance all that we would lose. Then just shadowy spectres, the disenfranchised unions, the country sold for a pittance, blues, all those sickening sound bites in the lowered register of expensive elocution. Gone with the nuclear wind, home improvements, why bother, the iconography of dissent. Uncle George, you died years ago, single parent, motorbike rider, ahead of your time, frugal as the land that shaped you. You mended a plastic dish once with stitched string. That May morning, when no one sang, the war horses, the apocalypse stalked us, town hall pillars, power station towers, ready to fall, the security blanket unpicked, the milk of human kindness soured. It's a bit of a cliche, but she was, isn't she?
Thank you, Pauline. That was excellent. More from the Prince Pauline Sewards. Our next act is Project Adorno. We've worked with Project Adorno over many years, actually, and we're appearing with them at Merton Abbey Fest in August with some other acts. What can I say about them? They have a very, very busy schedule. I think they've been at Glastonbury, many other festivals. They are really a festival act, so I'm afraid we didn't take the precaution to bring any mud in here this evening, but I'm sure they'd feel more at home if there was some. I know they've also played at a punk festival in Blackpool.